Hello and welcome to the 16th episode of Metabreakers Podcast, starring me, DmoneyGames, the Warshack himself, and DracoCatt, the Demon Hunter Extraordinaire. All right. We have a good one planned for you. I hope everybody's having a great day. Hope everybody had a safe and happy 4th of July if you celebrate. And yeah, how are we feeling today, guys? How's it going?
It's good. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but the 4th of July for like yesterday, it sounded like modern warfare outside my room. I streamed last night and it was literally like carpet bombs across the neighborhood. Like it was explosions and I was just like joking, like AC-130 inbound. And then there'd be like a big mortar pop. But yeah, it was pretty freaking crazy. I don't know about you guys, but I actually had to stop streaming.
Our kitties were not loving it here. They were like all hiding under the like the beds and stuff. So they felt kind of like we needed to like comfort our cats because they were like losing their minds. But we had a good time. We hung out with our friends, live in the apartment complex, drank some brews with everyone out in the parking lot, you know, watched some fireworks happen all around the city and did a lot of different angles. It was neat.
Dudes, we always bring up alcohol. We need to do a drinking podcast one of these damn weekends. Like in all seriousness, like it needs to be planned.
I've already done one, but not too much with when the Ox one happened. I had a brew for that podcast, but just one. So.
The meta drinkers
wasn't true. Okay.
Right. Yeah. That's why I was so unhinged. So
I actually did a drinking game stream the other day. I was playing Reno Mage and I did like a drinking game revolving around the deck where if Box gave me lethal or gave any player lethal, I would take a shot. If Reno killed me, I would take a shot. There are a few different rules, and I ended up taking 6 shots in 6 hours, which really isn't too much, I guess, to some people. But I'm a lightweight, so I was feeling it throughout the whole entire day there. But I was still stomping like Zan Ananet, like the best players in the world. I was playing as No Hands Gamer every other game. Like I was just I still ranked up quite a bit.
Playing with a handicap.
Yeah.
I don't really call it a handicap. I partake in some beverages a lot of my streams, and it enhances my card slinging abilities. I'm just saying.
Fair enough. But yeah.
Do we want to take a look at the meta? Has anything shaken up here? Do we see any differences?
Oh man, I gotta scroll back to the week before.
I remember last week, if memory serves me right, which I have none, we had 4 classes last week above 50%. This week we are looking at 3 classes above 50%. It looks like Druid fell 1 to 2 ranks, Mage fell a rank, and Shaman continues to suck.
Mage is the same, but I think it's still 7th. But
okay.
Druid fell 2. You were actually on point with that. Demon Hunter looks like it's better this week by a solid half. Right now, it's only like 4.4% better, and Hunter got almost an entire point better, which is impressive.
Dude, thank God these classes with Hunter in their name are just keep improving. It's I love to see it, you know. Yeah, I mean, not too much of a shift, just little tiny shifts, but I mean, everything's still close to where it was before. I don't think we're gonna see too much movement before the new expansion comes out or possible updates that they make. I know Rob's been trying to get that Shaman win rate up, but it doesn't look like it's working. I don't know. I thought you were single-handedly doing it.
No, I was trying, man. I've played all forms of Shaman, and surprisingly, the best Shaman that I've played has been any form of like a big Shaman, whether it's like you do the Fist with the Eye of the Storm and then King Pharos, and you do that like route, or you go with like the Muck Morpher and Blatant Decoy, and you play like the Scrapyard Colossuses and the Walking Fountains and like the Archmage, the Big Bad Archmage. Those decks, like I actually have like around a 50% with those. And they're really fun.
Anyway, anything to cheat out cards.
Yeah. Yeah. So like the cheating out big minions, but the problem is like other classes just do it better. Like for example, like, you know, of course, like Druid would be the perfect example. The ability for them to like just ramp. I mean, they have Breath of Wild, Wild Growth, Overgrowth, Not that many people play Nourish, but still a ramping card. And yeah, that just kind of does it better.
Some of the guys in my Discord got this shaman list from this dude named Harash. And it's pretty good. And I think Unlimited was calling it Removal Shaman, which is a funny name. And I was watching him play it against Druids in the qualifiers yesterday, and it was borderline hilarious because it ran double Waste Warden, multiple Earthquakes, and he started the game with like getting both Hagatha schemes scaling the entire time. So every single board the Druid made, it was just hilarious just to watch like one of like the many ways to clear the board happen every turn until the guy eventually just conceded because he had no minions left. It was pretty fun to watch that. So you can really target Druid with Shaman if you want. So that's kind of an interesting thing I learned. So I like it.
I've been I don't know, is that different than I guess that's not the Doomhammer version that he was running, right?
I don't believe there was a Doomhammer win con in the one that I was watching Unlimited pilot yesterday, but the one that I saw him play on Legend where like Yarla wanted the list and everything, that was the Doomhammer one that had the Zephyrs in it at the end.
Yeah, people have gotten so bored that everyone's just trying to get Shaman to work in some kind of facet. It's pretty funny to watch, but I love it. I love that people are trying to be creative with it.
Yeah, I was playing Invoke yesterday. I mean, you were there for a little bit, D-Money, and it was rough. Like we'd win a couple games, but like man, like there's just other decks that just the power level is just too high. Like you don't.
So bad.
Yeah, you just like get overwhelmed. It's like, all right, well, I didn't really get to play Hearthstone this game, but all right, let's move along here.
Yeah, there is this dude who won a Masters qualifier last week who brought Shaman, Paladin, and I believe Druid. And everyone in my Discord was like, look at this guy. He won with this crazy lineup. And I remembered last week there was like one where I got pretty far, and I was one of the guys who lost to that guy on his like way to win with the Paladin Shaman lineup. Just because there is like practically no way to beat a Totem Shaman and a Murloc Paladin that ran double Consecrate with Druid. I just couldn't do it. So he targeted my Druid and made me cry, and he won. The whole thing with Shaman and Paladin. Crazy.
That's impressive.
Totem Shaman. Yeah. Because you can't remove those pretty much with Druid, because with the second they start giving it all the health and everything, there's no reach. So
that guy is a true meta breaker.
Yeah, he should be on the podcast.
You know, he is. We have him right here. No.
Our special guest joining in now, coming from the top. Snap. Well, I mean, that kind of wraps up the meta, unfortunately, which hopefully with our next segment should shake it up a little bit. Do I have free reign to move into it?
I like it. Let's go.
All right.
Wait, well, do you know what the next segment is?
Yeah, the part that it's going to shake up the meta, the balance patch, right?
There's a little... There's...
Oh my God, D-Money, or should I say, Moneybreaker's got some breaking news. All right, go into it, my man. I'm sorry. This is your time to shine.
Speaking about qualifier tournaments, your boy DmoneyGames, that's me. If you're just listening, if you're not looking at the podcast, I did qualify for Masters Tour Montreal through getting a top 16 finish last season. So feels good. Now I don't have to go through the process of entering these tournaments every single week. Because it is a lot. It's really a lot to enter these tournaments and like to get so far and have it not mean anything. So I'm glad I don't have to play in the tournaments anymore, but I also kind of miss them because I do like to play them to like stay sharp and just like get some packs, And now that I'm qualified, I actually just can't enter the tournaments anymore. So like I love to stream them on weekends and everything, and I can't do that right now. So it feels a little bad, but I mean, of course, I just feel more good than anything because I finally qualified. This is the first time ever I'm going to be in a Masters tournament, and that should be in about, I think that's going to be September. So we have a little while to go, and there's going to be the new cards released for that tournament. So, I mean, hopefully I'm good with those too. But yeah, feeling really good over here. Also, just like casually top 16 again right now on NA, and trying to get there on EU as well. So just wanted to say that real quick. Yeah.
No, it's awesome, man. Feel free to raise the roof in chat for D-Money for finally qualifying. You know, you put a lot of hard work into it, and I was honestly getting salty when you were playing for you, because I know how much work you put into it, and to see you on that last day have to go through playing to keep your top 16 finish.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you had to earn it, but you already, in my mind, you got there for a really long time.
Yeah.
So you should have been able to camp it, to me. So I felt like on edge for you while you were streaming those games, but I'm so happy that you finally got it, man. Like, hell yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it was very nerve-wracking on that last day. Like, I was like, if I have to play, I'm gonna play, but I'd really rather just like sit here and just chill and celebrate. But thankfully I only had to play like 13 games. And I actually queued up with the wrong deck on the first game. I was practicing, I was warming up on Europe, and then I was like, all right, guys, we're ready to go to NA. I'm warmed up with the Priest. We're gonna queue up Priest on NA. We're good. I go out to NA, I queue up as a mage, and I completely forgot to select the deck that I wanted to play, and the game just knew that I play mage all the time. I won because of Reno casting Holy Ripple to save me from fatigue. It was incredible.
Wow.
It was a crazy night, but yeah.
So you had to play 16 games when you didn't want to play any?
I had to play 13. I got knocked down
13.
to number 18, and I went 9-4 to get me to number 5. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I just
I'll
sat
see you there next month.
Finish. Yeah,
what was the weird card in that mage deck? I remember when you played it, you're like, why is this in my deck? I remember you saying that when you were playing that game. There was some card that was just super niche that you had like in that mage deck that you didn't mean to play.
I think I queued up maybe with the tournament version, because I have 2 different versions, and in the tournaments I take out I think Imprisoned Observer for or no, I took out Ooze for Frozen Shadow Weaver because I was banning Warrior. So
okay.
Yeah, it was not
not even your mage ladder deck.
Not what I wanted at all. But it has all the main cards in there, so it has Dragoncaster, which we're gonna be talking about a little bit. Yeah. But exciting news for me. Yeah. Feeling good.
Man. Congrats.
And I wish everybody else good luck with qualifying. I can't wait to play against you.
Congrats, dude. Well deserved.
Thank you.
So an upcoming balance patch is rumored. That's what this segment is about. And it does mention Dragoncaster. So how do you feel about that, D-Money?
I'm quitting the game. I'm actually uninstalling. Yeah. No, I think like I want the game to be fair and balanced, and I feel like it is a little stupid when I can coin out a Dragoncaster on turn 5 and play power creation and basically just win the game. In some instances, so I'm down with the nerf, even though that's my main class. I just want it to be balanced, and I hope that they nerf other things as well and Hall of Fame other cards so that everything is getting toned down a little bit.
I feel like what they're gonna do, because of the trend of the way they've been nerfing things, will most likely be the next spell you cast costs 1. I bet
that's what I was thinking as well. Yeah. Because it's very hard to nerf this card without making it horrible, right?
Yeah, I think that wouldn't make it horrible. I think that would make it still viable, but it would just be a turn behind, right?
Yeah, Blizzard, I mean, based on the last sets of nerfs, like they love to delay everything by 1 turn, apparently. So that makes sense with me. And I think it would still be a solid card for sure.
And if it was like a continuous thing where it was like your next spell costs 1, so like if you did play it on curve, next turn you could like box or something if you wanted to for 1 mana, and right? Like wouldn't that be...
Well, now we're changing the whole thing. I don't know if it's too good then. I don't know. Maybe that's that might just be better than how it is right now.
What, being
Yeah,
able to
'cause-
bank the spell that you cast into the following turn?
Yeah, because then you could play the that mana reducing card, and then you could bank that and play 2 Pyroblasts in one power level of the game.
Well, I mean, at the same time, that's kind of like what they did with Twin Slice,
True.
right? So, yes, they hurt the card's immediate ability to be early, like to use with your Satyr, to use with your Glavebound Adept. But in reality, they made the card stronger in form of reach. So in this situation, like Ixar said, my problem is people using boxes coming out a little bit too early. So this way does, it changes that. It changes that problem, but it makes the card strong in another way, which might be okay.
Well, then it's like you could play Dragoncaster even if you don't have a spell in your hand, which is pretty sick because then if you top deck any good spell, then it's like really good.
Yeah.
It does allow counterplay though too, because then people could run cards that just make that completely nullified. Like things that I don't know.
Like what?
I don't know. I was just the first thing that came to my mind was Rebuke in Paladin, but I realized that's not a card that people would probably run. Or
that's not even in the game.
Yeah,
that's not even a standard, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It does allow counterplay though, because you get to play cards, but there's not much you can do to get ready for like a 1 mana box or something like that.
Yeah, that would be a change. It would be a bad thing and a good thing. So maybe. I could totally see the 1 cost thing in general, though. But yeah, are there any other changes? I only heard about the Dragoncaster.
They talked about Rogue. They talked about how they didn't like the concept of Rogue being able to scam the same turn that it plays Galakron. So they alluded to making the Rogue Galakron draw and reduce cards to 1 instead of 0, is what I feel like what they were insinuating in this article. Which is a huge thing to do.
Yeah.
Like the implications of these nerfs these aren't the best classes in the game, So if they're going to change something about Mage or Rogue to, weaken the class to make those things feel better, they need to do it like on a Twin Slice approach, because we don't want the class to actually be hurt. We want the scam to be delayed,
I feel like this change should have been made a while ago. I don't know. I feel like this has been an issue ever since the Galakron's release. Even though, like you're saying, like it's not the best class in the game, but it's just like super powerful in general. I think the only reason why it's not the best class in the game is because of just the overall matchups right now. But I think the deck is just as strong as any other deck and has potential to scam just as hard as any other deck. And it's been that way for a while. So I'm happy that they're finally changing it, but I wish it would have been sooner. I think a lot of people do too.
Yeah, I mean 0 mana cards are 0 mana cards are just like not good. At least if they cost 1, you can't like play Galakron on 7 or 8 and then just play like all 4 of the cards you got. And like even if you look at like Luna's Pocket Galaxy, right? That was like it was put to 5, right? And then that was too good, and then it was brought back to 7 and it was still played. And then if you look at like, sorry to keep bring up Dragoncaster, but like you play that on 6 right now. If it goes and delays it to 1, that's more of like an old Luna's Pocket Galaxy, being able to play like a big card that changes the game just a little bit later, which is, I think, the later in the game, the more powerful the spell, the easier it is to deal with, or kind of like set up at least a game plan, because you have the mana to play bigger stuff, which has bigger impacts and, board clears. But like when your opponent can blow out, 15-15, 20-20 in stats for like 5 mana or cheaper, there's like literally no cards in the game that can come back from that to provide you with what you need to be able to answer said blowout turn or scam, right? So just delaying it even a turn or two allows for the decks to be able to get to their AoE cards or their combo cards that can answer, incredibly powerful board states.
Yeah, the devil's advocate approach that I feel like, obviously I'm biased as the guy who plays a shit ton of Demon Hunter, but if you take Mage and you don't allow them to use their deep freeze on turn 6, that's going to severely hurt that matchup and make Demon Hunter way too fucking powerful. And that concerns me, because I don't want them to touch Demon Hunter again. And if they nerf a class that's already bad against it to be even worse,
They'll touch Demon Hunter.
What's that?
They'll touch.
I know they're gonna touch Demon Hunter, but I don't want them to. And I feel like if they hit like something like Mage and delay it even more and doing it scam, it's going to not be fair to have it play against Demon Hunter, which is a very popular class, and that scares me.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm saying I think that they should be doing just like a bunch of changes, like changes to quite a few classes, and it's like Hall of Fames in general too. Yeah, because if they do nerf Dragoncaster, they do have to change some other things as well, or else it wouldn't be fair.
But then they could just print cool tech cards that allow for like, the techs against not your good matchups. For example, like Frozen Shadow Weaver is like a really great tech against the weapon classes right now. So when you print cards like Frozen Shadow Weaver in this upcoming expansion, and they give Mage like, for just an example, a 1-mana 1/2, when it attacks, it freezes something, like whatever gets hit, if whatever it damages gets frozen, just stuff like that allows it to live in these matchups, so they're not as bad. So they're able to like, nerf the cards that do blowout stuff and print nice tech cards so you can put those in the matchups that you're not doing well in, right? Isn't that what card games are about? Like knowing what your deck's good against, teching against what you're not against, and building a well-rounded deck. So
yeah, I think we also like have no idea what they're going to be coming out with. So like they're probably going to be making these adjustments for this future expansion. Yes, but like also they do usually release these balance patches like 7 days before the expansion releases or something like that. So it's going to be kind of weird for those few days before the expansion, but I'm sure they're going to be doing it in preparation for these new tech cards or neutral heals or whatever that are coming into the game.
Also, I actually read an article. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
You can go in. Yeah, you're good.
Whoever.
I read an article about the lack of nerfing Demon Hunter, alluding to there being a card that techs against it for the following expansion, like as to how it came so unbalanced in the original part. And from reading this article, the guy basically theorized that there's going to be a neutral legendary that's going to be like a control card that's a neutral legendary that most likely does something like all enemies can attack next turn for 7. So like you can literally freeze a board to make everything like to stall for a turn. You know what I mean? It's like a neutral freeze that has like a bad stat line. What's that?
Where'd you find that?
It was on Reddit. It was like on the competitive Hearthstone Reddit where someone was basically saying that the only thing that makes this all make sense would be that if in the lieu of all the cards that come out, potentially next set or the following set, that there's like some kind of control tech that is super punishing to aggro decks. So they didn't want to nerf the aggro decks into oblivion so that it's able to stand against this, I guess, card that would fill the meta correctly. I don't know.
All right.
Pretty far.
He's going to look like this. He's going to be a 7-mana 6/6. His name's going to be the Time Wizard. He's going to freeze the board state. For what?
Flip a coin.
There it is, boys. You heard it here first. This is it.
But that would just make like priests and mage and shaman able to just like tilt games back in their favor by, giving your opponent a dead turn. But I mean, they can still develop, but they can't really attack with their face or their minions or something like that.
That seems a little crazy to me, that effect. But I could see them coming out with some control aspect.
Time Wizard.
Time Wizard, yeah.
Is it a crazy effect? Have you read that Kane Sun Fury cards effect?
Everybody says they have a problem with Kane. I have no problem with Kane since his release at all.
Its effect is crazy though. Like you never thought Blizzard would print that.
It is crazy, but text. It's not a problem so far. I think there's just other cards that have problems.
I wouldn't be surprised if a text said enemies can't attack next turn. That would be like pretty like crazy, but not crazier than some of the stuff they do, right?
It would be a Demon Hunter card.
That would be so broken if they gave it to the wrong class.
They have mana burn already, so yeah.
Is Kane a Demon Hunter like classic card, or is he from this expansion? Is he going to be always part of their thing? Their kit?
Ooh, Demon Hunter Education. There are no Demon Hunter classic cards as of this time. Even the cards you get in the Initiate set and in the Ashes of Outland set have not deemed to be classic cards. Blizzard said they would revisit which cards migrate to the classic Demon Hunter set after the Year of the Phoenix.
Thanks, Draco.
Well, but they have basic cards, though.
The basic cards are the ones that are from. Yeah, some of them say basic, but none of them say classic. You know,
Because Zeph still gives you basic cards too. So
right.
I think maybe that's still part of his question if it's a basic card, but I don't think so.
Yeah, my question was, will he ever rotate? Will he always be a Demon Hunter kit, or will he eventually rotate? Because he eventually
He's
rotates
the
the
Outlands card right now.
Okay, all right, that was okay. So he will eventually rotate. All right, I don't play enough of it to know.
Unless they decide he gets to be in the classic set, which is something that they said that they are going to bring Demon Hunter cards from the whole year and then incorporate them into the classic set. So hopefully Warglaves gets that.
Dracopedia. That's what somebody put in the chat.
All right. So what I was gonna bring up before was they're probably gonna Hall of Fame stuff, right? So I was hoping everybody could put in one card that they think is gonna get Hall of Famed, and we'll revisit this once that happens.
You think they're gonna Hall of Fame when? Like in the next rotation? You think something's gonna get pulled out of the game?
Yeah. I think something might get Hall of Famed, right? Just something
crazy.
I want to see Hall of Fames with the new balance changes as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were to take a vote, just pick one card. What would you like to see go? Everybody gets one card.
Only one?
Yeah. Just pick one card.
I have like 5 or 6.
Okay. Well, the thing said one. You know, that's the rules. I didn't come up with it.
Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. I'll say the one that D-Money wants to say, but he doesn't want to commit to it. Malygos. There you go. That'd be cool if we could, eliminate, Quest Warlocks and all the crazy shit off the Ysera portals, all these really ridiculous games that shouldn't have ended. There you go. Picked one.
Okay.
It's a good one. It's on my list.
I know.
Oh
my God.
Corcoran Elite.
Fuck, that was mine. We both picked mine. I picked Malygos. I'm like, all right, I got backup. I got Corcoran Elite, and then you pick Corcoran Elite. Oh my God!
I mean, I have more. I have more if you want to.
No, it's fine. You locked in. That was your one. That was your one.
Yeah, Corcoran Elite needs to go. I don't want to play around 22 damage combos or just like easy 12 damage combos. I don't know. It's just obnoxious. It's a Leroy Shadow Step Jr., but takes one more card, but less mana. So.
All right.
I feel like Corcoran's more likely to get hit than Grom because Grom's like their classic legendary.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right, I'm cashing in on mine.
Wait, sorry. I was thinking that instead of Corcoran or Gromosh, Inner Rage could be Hall of Famed.
Whoa.
Because then it shuts down that combo pretty much. Unless you have like a Kobold Lackey to activate it. Just food for thought. I don't know. That might solve the issue. Just one thinking. I don't know if you guys have an opinion about that.
Chad thinks Bloodswarm's the issue, and I kind of agree with that actual perspective.
It's really but they're never going to remove it.
Yeah.
That's why I say Inner Rage.
I don't mind Bloodsworn because you can do that on other cool combos like the Prime, for example, in like a control list. You hit the Prime, you copy the Prime, and now you have like a really nice double Prime in your Control Warrior list. But the problem stems from the ability to copy cards that have charge, which you cannot interact with. So the core of the problem is Corcoran, or any sort of charge card that they copy, and then you can't do anything. You take an insurmountable amount of damage in one turn without any sort of, being able to play against it. But anyway, my vote's Stone Tuskboar. You've made me go to Plan C.
It came back in this meta. It wasn't Face Hunter
a little
for a period of time with that scrap shot.
He's a boar with no fears.
Yeah, I don't think it's that great though. But I mean, it depends on what they're coming out with. It could just not work with it. It could be too good. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of issues with charge cards right now, so I can see it. I think there's other cards to address before Stone Tuskboar, but if they want to, hey, whatever. I'm fine with it, I guess.
When do you think the nerf's going to happen? You think it's going to happen this week? The following week? I bet it'll happen this week, honestly, because usually they're close to around the corner when they even flirt about it.
I say within 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I feel like within 3 weeks, honestly. I feel like they do it a lot closer to when the expansion is going to release. So I feel I wouldn't be surprised if the expansion is going to release like around the 7th or 10th of next month, and they release the patch like the 27th of this month or something like that. I don't know. They always do it at like weird times and like during the season and like make it awkward. So I don't know what to expect.
It'll be after the Fellfire Festival. It'll probably be that patch, right? When they
When
like
does that
are,
end?
I believe soon.
Sometime in the future.
I bet though if because they're gonna have to patch it up to remove all of that, it would make sense that if they're gonna implement a balance patch, they do it at the same time.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring up one thing about the Rogue real quick. We were talking about the Galacron. Somebody brought up something interesting in chat. It was like a meme, but if you do draw, like if they change it to drawing 1 cost instead of 0 cost, and you draw like shadow steps or backstabs, then that's gonna actually severely hurt the class there. So just something to keep in mind. That's gonna be a bigger nerf than it actually seems, because you have those free cards and everything, and just cheap cards in general. Yeah. That's all I'd say.
Okay.
We're on to the next one.
All right, on to the next. We've got the tweet that I'd opted to slide in here. I had posted it in chat a day or two ago, and I guess I'll link it in chat again now so you guys can take a look at it. It's a little bit long, but I think the points are pretty good. And for those of you who don't want to read it because there's words, I will summarize it for you. And it basically goes into like how Hearthstone has changed since like the beginning of the game, when mages would run cards like Flame Strike because you need to have AoE in your deck to clear your opponent's board, because that's how you deal with board states. You have to play spells. Spells kill minions, spells do damage. Normally, when you play a minion, it doesn't really do that, right? It has to sit a turn, or like its effect doesn't occur immediately, and if it does, it's limited. But we're in an era of Hearthstone today where you can really get around playing spells, looking at, for example, like Highlander Hunter, which has very little spells in the deck, but it has a ton of ways to deal with minions, and that's because the power level of the minions that are being printed in these sets, they all have some sort of like rush mechanic, or when your hero power triggers, deal 5 damage to something, or generate a spell that can be activated immediately, or this minion generates a card that the rest of the cards cost 0 mana, which can then be impacted the board immediately, which clears stuff. So it's basically like we're seeing a lack of having to actually pay mana for specific cards to be used in situations that call for them, and more so just like, here's a really good minion that does exactly what this old spell used to do and this minion used to do, and you get extra stuff on top of it.
Now
That's kind of like what I got out of this.
Spells on sticks, right? It's like a kebab game. Like it's like, I mean, you bring your kebabs, your opponent brings their kebabs, and then you play your dragon that does its spell, and then they play their card that does its removal. Then you play your next kebab, and
I wonder what you had last night for dinner. Yeah, so I mean, a prime example is Rottnest Drake, which is a walking deadly shot and has good stats for a 5-drop. Yeah.
There's the Warlock minion that has a Hellfire attached to a 5/5 dragon for 5 mana. That's like
exactly
ridiculous.
You pay what you're paying for a 1 mana 5/5, because the Hellfire in itself is 4 mana, and then you just got, for 1 extra mana, you get a 5/5.
Gladebound Adept gets a Shadow Bolt that can go face.
That's true.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, basically you're saying that like we want to bring back I think the moral of this story here is that we want to bring back like a penalty for minions. Like you have Rottnest Drake, which has really good stats and a really good effect, but there's no drawback. And usually, like back in the day, there used to be like actual drawbacks for cards with good effects, for minions with good effects.
Exactly.
We don't see that anymore. Yeah.
Rottnest does have a condition, but the condition's very easily met, especially because it has synergy with its own condition. So like in theory, from the old context, if they're gonna make a deadly shot on a stick, like the stats of the minion have to be like super taxed, right? Like you would think Rottenness Drake would be like a 5 mana
4/4
2/4 or something like that, and then it would come with a deadly shot. So you're developing and removing for a fair value. You're still getting better value out of that than you would from both, but yeah. I guess they don't. It's weird how some minions just avoided the stat tax. It's very weird because
completely.
Because it's consistent with some minions that have very powerful stats, and it's like they thought about it in the past too. Like why did EMT Operative get stack taxed to a 3/3 because it could remove a mech, when Rottenness Drake gets no stat tax to have a deadly shot? That's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of just like clearly shows us that it's like a power creep, a real power creep, like that they're just printing a ton of powerful cards now. So now it's like, is it too late to go back, like for this next expansion, like to doing what he's saying in that article, in that post?
Well, the best time, I mean, you want to do it on a rotation, right, where we're losing sets and like we have a small card pool, and then you start off with like, you know, not as powerful as a set. But like here, we're like, this isn't, no rotations occurring, right? Like we still have a big pool, and right now the power level of cards is very high. So like if you were to just print a garbage set, people would feel like they spent their money on nothing. You know what I mean? Like they would just they just wouldn't use the cards, and then Blizzard wouldn't make as much money because they wouldn't sell as many packs because the packs don't contain as many powerful cards, and you know that's not what they want to do. So the best time to do it would be when a rotation occurs.
Remember how salty people were when Rosticon came out, and then there was literally no deck that came from it other than OTK Paladin? Everything else was not changed. And if that was when they released the last that they released that had a smaller attack level or power level than everything else that was printed in that year. And everyone was pretty peeved. And I say pretty peeved, meaning they're more annoyed than they are right now. I feel like that needs to be stated because everyone's always mad, but they were madder back then when they had to go through 2 expansion cycles of playing Odd Paladin, Death Rattle Hunter, Odd Rogue. Like it was all the same. They did have that Odd Mage that came out then because of Jan'alai, but that was the only new deck that came into existence through that whole expansion. But
yeah, it's a little scary just to think about the power level of these next expansions that are coming. I don't know. I keep saying it that I think that Death Knight is going to get a hero card, and it's kind of I feel like it's going to be broken beyond belief, but I'm not sure.
Who's going to get a hero card?
Wait, what did I say?
What did you say? Someone's going to get a hero card?
I said Demon Hunter. Did I say Death Knight? I don't even know. All right.
I mean, if it costs a lot of mana, it's probably not going to. I don't know. It's bad for Outcasts, though.
It's gonna be like it's gonna be like Zul'jin for Demon Hunter. It's gonna be replay all the minions you play. I don't know.
Replay all the spells that gave you increased attack damage.
Yes, exactly. Oh my god.
It's like Enter Demon, Twin Slice. It just turns into a giant finisher.
That's actually it.
I hope they do for like
Chaos Strikes going out and everything.
I hope they do more of a control route with it, to be honest. Like, so there actually can be like a cool control Demon Hunter. Because right now it's all basically just like aggressive.
Yeah.
So.
Or elongated beatdown. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't forget. Yeah, absolutely. Elongated beatdown.
Oh man.
Draco is he's the Death Knight, or the goddamn. The Demon Hunter encyclopedia. So
we were theorizing cards that could come out for Demon Hunter that would make it like even more powerful that might actually get printed. By like, and the one that we all kind of came with the agreement of was a 2 mana 2/2 taunt Outcast, give your hero +2 attack. That would just be the most like ridiculous like card to add into the rotation because they don't really have a great 2-drop or a taunt now other than Brawler, and that would just like terribly just ruin it. Or that was the card that would break the game, the taunt that costs 2 that gives you attack. But
I can see it.
Yeah.
All right, we are going through some time here. We still have a lot to go over. So let's just speed it up through these last few.
Okay. Well, the next segment's pretty heavy. I didn't know how long you guys wanted to stay on this one, but this is the Rectful one.
I didn't really watch a lot of Rectful prior. I mean, obviously, rest in peace. Mental health is a serious problem. Get help. That's what I got.
Yeah, I mean, it actually hit me pretty hard. Because I mean, not only did somebody just like come into my chat and say like RIP Rectful, and it was completely out of nowhere. But I actually used to watch him like in the beginning stages of Hearthstone, and I played against him quite a bit on ladder, and I was also, this is when I started streaming like 4 years ago. I used to have no viewers at all, and I was number 8 legend, and I had beaten Rectful on a stream, and then about 60 people from a stream or 100 people came over to my stream and watched me get to number 1 legend, and it was amazing. And I had him on my friends list too, and like so not really, I didn't really talk to him too much at all, but just like a little bit here and there. And I don't know, he just seemed like a really nice guy, and it seemed like he was on the path to like recovery or just like happiness, like true happiness. And it's so sad to see somebody that's like, this seems like they're doing well, and like they're going to like they're so happy and like they're successful and all that, to just be taken away in an instant. It was very heartbreaking, and I'm getting like chills just thinking about it right now. It's just yeah, it's a very sad situation.
Yeah. For me, I mean, I had played WoW growing up, and I had watched a couple content creators before I started streaming and stuff, and he was one of them. Played a lot of WoW, and he played a lot of Hearthstone, and he was very open about a lot of his, ideas and how he was doing and how he was feeling, his life. And overall, he's just a really good guy. From what I've watched on stream, what I've read from people's articles, and what I've read about him, I watched his, the documentaries that they've been posting about him. And people would, describe him as like, he's the brightest guy in the room, always positivity, making friends. And it's crazy to think that someone who you would think has like everything, right? They had fame, they had money, they had recognition amongst the community, highest like level of play, Hearthstone and WoW, and that the illness took that from him. And it's messed up.
Yeah.
So
get help, guys, if you don't feel great like this. It's a lot of people have a hard time kind of reaching out and stuff like that, but I think that's the only true answer to these kind of things, is you got to use like your friends and your support bases to help yourself. So
rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, like it hit me pretty good when I heard that. I was like,
oh yeah,
I watched him from the ground up. I didn't know him, but he's somebody like that was someone to look up to, right? Like, people seem like a great guy. So.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that we could hope is that this just brings it just brings more positivity to the community, just overall. Like, people just open their eyes to depression as a whole, and just really like not try to be as negative towards one another, and just like reach out to somebody and just make sure that like everybody is feeling all right and is there for each other. Yeah, you can just hope that there's like that something positive comes out of this. And I feel like a lot of content creators have been talking about it, and have been trying to shed light on it, and I feel like it has opened a lot of people's eyes, because he was such a predominant figure in the gaming world. So like at least something good can come out of it. It's a horrible thing, of course, but I think the only thing we can do is just try to be more positive in the future.
Yep, just being more aware, looking out for one another. That'll always lead to better outcome and a better future. So,
for sure.
Definitely. Well, our next segment is a little bit more lighthearted, and something a lot of people have been looking forward to for quite some time now. For those of you who play Battlegrounds, I don't play it that much, and by that much I mean at all, but I'm sure Draco or DMoney can talk about what this means for that game mode.
It's pretty exciting because you can just play Battlegrounds with like up to 4 people, and you can do your own tournaments now for like your own 8-player lobbies when that comes out. It was pretty much confirmed that this is happening. It was kind of a leak that was data mined, but Blizzard kind of confirmed it by not, by how did they confirm it? They basically commented on the leak, but they didn't say it was wrong. So it's kind of confirmed that this is definitely happening. But I think it's just going to be really fun for keeping Hearthstone as becoming more of a game you play with friends. I know we as streamers, we play a lot of Hearthstone with friends because we like to co-op together, and we, and that's what our game, and we play together because it's our game. But I found that it's actually really fun for a lot of people to co-op together. And I think the concept of being able to play Battlegrounds with a bunch of friends, it'll start making the community of Hearthstone to feel like a game that you play with other people versus it being like an individual experience. And steps like this are going to be just so much fun for, like your individual community to play together. And I'm excited. I'm glad that we can do more with larger groups of people. I'm stoked.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you said this was supposed to be not sad, because this is kind of sad. Like, it's good, but it's sad that it took so long to get to this point. Like, thank you. I feel like on release of Battlegrounds, like that this should have been in the game already. Like, I'm pretty sure TFT had this for quite a while, like shortly after their release. Like, there were so many, like, this was just so good for TFT because so many streamers were able to play with other streamers and make their own private lobbies to like just show off the game some more and really like just bring more fun to it. Yeah, I think this should have been in the game for a long time, but it's great that it's actually going to be a thing. I don't know how I feel about 4 people queuing up at the same time together. I feel like that might cause a little teaming issues, and that's a little iffy for ranking, but I guess it works out. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I didn't know that was also a part of it. You're able to like go into matchmaking as a group, but it's a single player game.
Yeah. So you can go in with 4 people, which is half the lobby. Yeah.
That I don't think that is good, because like, all right, don't pick my demons. Okay, don't pick my murlocs. Okay, you know what I mean?
I mean, and it's kind of hard to team though, so like that makes it like you basically just do whatever the game gives you. Like, you deal with whatever the game gives you. So like, if somebody's saying like, I'm going murlocs, don't take murlocs, and like all you're being offered is murlocs, like you kind of have to go murlocs. Do it. Yeah.
Well, it depends what the pool looks like.
And you're going to kill each other because it's going to queue you into them too, right? Like, you're going to have to run all your dudes at their face, and they're going to have to run all their dudes at your face. So even if you're trying to not kill each other, it's going to be harder to team up than it is just going to be to play normally.
Not really, because, for example, I mean, I don't play often, but I know, like, when you get a gold card, right, you get that card that goes in your hand that lets you discover a minion, and then you can play it. But let's say you're facing your friend and you're going to knock him out. You're going to opt to not make as powerful as a board, so you kill him less, so your buddy doesn't get knocked out. Then your buddy can play against somebody else, knock them out, and they placed higher than they would normally if you didn't know they were your buddy. I mean, that's literally that has, like, that's very simple, not hard to like figure out and or do. And you're already going to be placing higher than other people. I don't think it's going to be hard to have a team of 4 and then have them all help each other to place as high as they can within a match. I think that's going to be really easy.
What if they do it like Halo matchmaking style? So like, if you go in with a group of 4, then you're match made against another group of 4.
I don't like that. I don't know.
You know what I mean? Or if you go with a group of 3,
I think
you
that's
get matched
fine.
into another group of 2 and another group of 3.
I think that's fine.
And it just becomes I don't know. That turns it into such a weird game. Then this whole thing is just so different. It's
well, they made it weird when you could team up in a single player game.
Yeah, like 2 was enough. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like
4.
going in as 4s. No, that to me that it breeds not doing things that are, I mean, ethical, but I mean, it's just a game, right? But still, people are gonna take advantage of ways to win. People love winning, and if people are gonna stream snipe, they're gonna sure as hell join into 4s and try to get as many wins and help each other out as possible.
Yeah, I feel like they have to match against 4. If you do that, then
I feel like it's good for the game though, just because of like the exposure or just like streamers playing together. But I don't think streamers really queue up together anyway, right? I don't watch too many BG stream, but it seems like whoever streaming BGs, it's kind of hard to focus on it's kind of hard to like queue up with somebody and like be talking to them and focusing on your BG's game and talking to chat. Like talking to chat and playing BGs in the first place is pretty difficult. That's why a lot of people don't like watching it, because like you have to focus a lot on BGs. It's kind of it's a lot to it's auto chess basically. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I love the 8-player lobbies though. I think that's amazing. Just the 4-player thing, but that's not confirmed though. I think it's like these things are just speculation. So hopefully the 4-player thing is not completely true.
Hopefully it's implemented tastefully.
Yeah.
I think it's like a step in the direction of making Hearthstone more of a community-like game, which I am all about, because whenever you play a game like Destiny or like World of Warcraft, like an MMO where you play with people and you have voice chat on all the time, you start to associate playing that video game with the interaction you get with your friends. And if we implement something like this into Hearthstone, then I imagine a lot of people that play Hearthstone by themselves will probably eventually end up making friends and finding communities and not associating feeling as lonely or something. So I don't know. I think it's a good step.
Yeah. Agreed.
Agreed.
Do you want to move into Q&A?
Yes, sir.
All right, boys. You know what it is. You know what it isn't. Q&A time.
This is the time. If you have any questions, we will give you the answers.
Within reason.
Has the elongated beatdown meta ended? Yeah, I don't know what happened to that deck. It just kind of fell off. It was very popular for a few days. Draco, do you know anything about what happened to that? Is tempo just clearly better?
Yeah, tempo's just got a better matchup spread than the control list. It's a little. The control list has been found to be a little bit polarizing, because if you match into other control decks and you draw really bad with it, it's kind of hard to pull your ground out against the other control decks. I think people just learned that the matchup spread is less positive than just running the aggressive variant. So that's been resurging. But it's still good.
Super hard to play.
Yeah. It's still good and really hard to play, but it's just not as popular now because, everyone knows how to play against it too. So the second you start seeing like a Moarg in your opponent's Demon Hunter deck, you realize like, oh, I don't want to play a whole bunch of minions out on the board for them to, soul cleave and heal to full and stuff. It was better when the deck was shiny, because then no one knew what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, did this guy just use like 2 immolation auras in a row? Is he run Eldrazi Warblades? What has happened? But now we know what that is.
That's not that surprise factor anymore.
Right.
That is exactly right.
Got a lot of good questions here. Rob, do you want to pick out
one? What new mechanic would you like to see introduced in coming expansions? Something like Menace from MTG Arena would be good. Mechanic wise, I really liked it's not that I really liked, but like stuff like magnetic, like you could use that really uniquely, whether it be like trading or making a big minion or making a big minion and then copy it. So like mechanics that allow for like not only counterplay, but also like board clears or like different uses. Like right now, charge does one thing, right? It goes face. That's like its only mechanic. But in like Outcast, it can only be played in the left or right. But with Outcast, there's hand manipulation involved. So like Outcast to me is a fantastic keyword because it goes beyond just, oh, he top decked a card. No, you had to manipulate your hand almost the entire game to get you to be on that Outcast when you wanted to. And I learned that through playing Demon Hunter. Just the other day, I learned it a little bit more when Draco was in the chat. He's like, wow, Rob, you're really thinking ahead like 3 turns here to get that Outcast card on your hand and on the left by turn 6. And like, so keywords like Outcast, I think, stuff that is a little bit deeper than just surface level, I think keywords would be cool. But it's hard for me to think of them because I'm not really a card game.
Yeah,
buyer.
it's definitely hard to like come up with one.
Yeah.
But I agree that like magnetic and Outcast are very cool. We've seen a lot of like even though it was like basically just coin flip, like Joust was just a cool mechanic in general. So I don't know. I'm excited to see what they come up with next. Dormant was kind of like a little like because we've already seen Dormant in the past, so it wasn't really new. But yeah, we'll see. I'm excited to see what they come up with.
Yeah, there's a lot of good questions in here. Damn.
Yeah, I wanted to address the one from Proxalox saying, how did the 3 of you come together to create the podcast? Well, that was actually DracoCatt's idea. Spawned from DracoCatt, and he messaged me about it. And yeah, we really both were passionate about it. We wanted to start it up for like a month or two. And we just wanted to like assemble like the dream team for the podcast, and we saw the Warshack, and we thought that he's just like the king of content. Like the man exudes content. Like we needed to have him on the podcast. He would be great for it, and we hit him up. He was all down for it. We were working on this for like a month, and we got it together and decided on a day and time, and it's been great since.
Yeah, Dan honestly made it happen. I came up with the idea like 7 months before it came into fruition, and he was really kind of pushing it to happen. He would text me like, is this going to happen like this week or not? What needs to happen now? What are we waiting on? How can I help? And eventually, obviously it happened. But yeah, it was definitely very much due to DMoney, networking with the Warshack, bringing it together, pushing everything to happen and everything like that. So it was truly a collective effort. In fact, when he said Warshack was going to be a part of it, I was like, wow, he's like way bigger than us. Is he cool with this? Like, are you sure that he's like down to do this? Like, because at that time, like, yeah, but really crazy. Yeah, worked out.
Yeah, it was kind of like a shot in the dark because like Warshack is this at the time, like I didn't really have like too many viewers at all, and like it was like we're approaching the Warshack, who is like this big shot streamer. He's been streaming for a while, he has this whole community built, and he was just on board with it, and it was great to see. Couldn't have asked for a better co-host on here. So, yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I've been wanting to get involved more. I mean, from my side of things, like I have been wanting to get involved into like talking to other like streamers and content creators, and of course high level competitive players like DMoney and Draco are, in comparison to me, who plays meme decks. And when I got approached, I was like, hell yeah, I want to do a podcast with great players. Like, sounds like a good time. Like, why not? They seem like really cool dudes, and it worked out, and I'm happy. I mean, we all get along. The podcast, like, it was crazy because our first podcast, we had really not talked a whole bunch before our first podcast, like on mics, that is. And like, so we did like, we talked for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes before our first podcast just to like feel each other out. And we're like, are we good? You're like, yeah, we good. We're like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I feel like after we did the second one, that was when I was like, oh, we can do this. Like, this doesn't feel scary now. Now I feel like we know what we're doing. But the first one, I was like, oh shit. Hope this goes well.
And it did.
I'd be interested to watch back that first podcast and just see how we were acting and everything, because I know I was very nervous on that one. But now I feel pretty damn comfortable. Let's go.
You know what? I think we're gonna do that. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go watch that later today. Yeah, that actually sounds like a great idea.
Oh yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Maybe one more.
I came back to my screen is frozen on the Time Wizard from
I saw
Yu-Gi-Oh. Oh shit.
Last week we talked a lot about the Q Priest doubles, but in reality we think it's pretty awesome. D-Money thought it was interesting, but it's not straying him away from his priest. But I've been playing a lot of Q Priest and it's really fun. I love it. So
one more.
Right here. Since you guys have been playing Hearthstone a lot, what is the most consistent class that's still dominating ladder? Rogue. Rogue has always been a class that does very well, regardless of meta. There's always a rogue deck that wins.
Yeah, Rogue's always pilot dependent, and I think Jay Alexander's is like a really good attest to that, because even like in like metas where Rogue was trash, dude was always, you know, hitting high numbers, doing nothing but playing Rogue. So even like, because I remember I think it was the beginning phase of Rise. No, it wasn't Rise of Shadows. That was an insane. Right before Rise of Shadows, Rogue wasn't in the best place, but he was still taking it up to top 100 every single month. So it's super pilot dependent.
I feel like Hunter is just consistently always up there. Even if there's not like a mid-range or control-ish Hunter, there's always some variation of face Hunter that does well against a lot of decks that are slower. So yeah, I mean, face Hunter used to be like a huge thing. And then we've had a lot of mid-range hunters. We've had a lot of Highlander hunters recently. I feel like Hunter's like always been up there. There really hasn't been a time where Hunter's been unplayable. I feel like they're just always able to smork you down.
That's a really good point. Yeah. I don't remember Hunter like ever being unplayable. Yeah. It's just not the best sometimes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I like Lazo's question. If you guys can do one more.
I guess I'll do one more. All right.
What are your thoughts on the current meta compared to the ones before? Is it better or is it worse? I mean, I can say that it's pretty similar. I would say it's better than a lot of metas. Like the only ones you can think of are the ones that were super bad, right? Like the Pocket Galaxy nerfed buff meta where it was 5 mana, that was really bad. And the Evolve Shaman meta, that was really bad. I would say this one's fine. This is cool. It's good.
Yeah, I don't mind this one at all.
Yeah, I mean the meta is better in the sense that there's more stuff to play. It's just not maybe as fun as the other metas. But I think it's good. It's not like better, it's not worse, it's just like okay.
It's normal.
Yeah.
I feel like each class has like at least a playable deck. Granted, Shaman doesn't really have a playable deck, but most classes, the majority of them, have at least 1 or 2 decks that you can play that are decent. And on top of that, there's actually quite a few budget decks that are good as well that you can hit Legend with. I mean, it's very doable. And not every meta is there multiple different classes that you can hit Legend with consistently and also budget decks with them consistently. So I think it's one of the more healthier ones.
For sure. All right, well, that just about wraps up the Metabreakers Podcast, episode number 16. Thank you guys for all coming out. We would love to. I know Warshack usually asks you after me and Draco have left, but I would love to see if you guys enjoyed the podcast this week, just to see your comments right now as we wrap up here. Hope you did, and hopefully we have something new to talk about next week, like as far as a new patch. some updates, and maybe we'll even have a special guest on to go over it with. So hope you liked it. And
I guess we are due for a guest, aren't we?
We are.
Yeah, we haven't had one
Okay.
for like 2 or 3 weeks, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's time.
But yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys. It was nice talking to you. Nice seeing you guys as always, Draco and Warshack. Good commentary.
Yeah, thanks again, guys, for hanging out and doing another podcast. We've been at it now for 16 straight weeks in a row. And I look forward to the continuation of this great content that we provide the wonderful, luxurious Hearthstone community that is you, Twitch chat. So thank you.
Yeah. Love doing this every Sunday with you guys. It definitely makes me look forward to something when I wake up. So super awesome to do it for 16 months in a row. Thanks for everyone who comes in. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys. And by the way, have a good one.
All right.
Peace out, boys.
Be good. Peace.